Hello again, this is Alex with MasterChartsTrading.com, and this is a market recap for April 27, 2018. So a very similar outline as before. We will look at stocks as the sectors are mixed. Various discretionary firms are pushing higher, while some of the defensive tilted funds also are kind of pushing higher. So it's a very mixed market currently. We'll look at bonds, which are bouncing. Dollar is also bouncing. We'll see where this goes. And then this is weighing on gold and gold miners. So again, energy companies are benefiting as oil pushes towards 52-week highs. Natural gas about really unchanged. And then we'll finish off with cryptocurrency review. Alright, so let's first look at S&P 500 futures. This is S&P 500 mini futures. So here I have kind of annotated chart. You can see that on this chart there's the price in candlesticks, and there's also the 4 lines on this chart. Now these lines I programmed them in myself. You can find out more about them at MasterChartsTrading.com. I use them basically as a support resistance lines, but additionally as a trend setting lines. So you can ask me questions if you're interested. Also, please hit the like button. The like button is right below there. This is how I know you guys are watching, and it really helps the morale. So please hit the like button. Also, if you have any comments, do comment below for any of the issues. So S&P 500 futures, again, very mixed chart. So here, I thought we broke out on the 16th of April, and I thought we were gonna go to fresh highs. Obviously that didn't happen. Now we kind of broke below the support resistance line. You can see that here, that breakdown on the 20th of April. And then so far we're not able to close above this support resistance line. I can zoom in closer. You can see the price, for example, here on the 26th of April 2018. You can see clearly the price came right up to the blue line here, and then was so far not able to close above it. Again, the same thing today. You can kind of came very close to this blue line, but again, we're not really able to close above it. So overall, this is kind of an indecisive chart. We may go lower to the next support level. I mean, if this 2678 area proves to be the resistance, then we could easily get down to the support area around 2544. Nobody really knows what's gonna happen, but this is the way I'm looking at this chart. Currently it's indecisive with a bullish tilt. I think it's a bullish chart. I would be buying it. I would not be shorting it. When would I be shorting it? I think if or when we get below this yellow line currently at 2434, then I would consider looking into shorting it, but not until then really. So let's look at what else we have. Sectors are very mixed. Yes, discretionary stocks advance as the Amazon hits fresh highs. So let's look at some of the sectors. So XLY, this is the most economically sensitive sector. You can see that we're very close to fresh, all-time highs. All-time highs are just up. The all-time highs were set on January of this 2018. So we're really approaching that area, and this is a very strong looking chart. You can see that this blue support line, you can see that we're touched it several times and then rallied off of it. So it's a strong looking chart. Additionally, since this is a consumer discretionary, it's a very important sector, and it's showing to me that the economy is doing pretty good, I think. Amazon is a part of this sector, and you can see Amazon at fresh highs just today. We sold off afterwards, but I think the important thing is that the fresh highs were put in. So sectors are mixed. You can see that XLI industrials kind of sold off relatively hard here on the 24th of April. So this is a, I mean, it's still a bullish chart. It's just weaker than XLY. XLK technology, pretty strong. You know, this is pretty strong looking chart. So again, we have technology leading and consumer discretionary leading. So overall, this is a pretty good posture to have when you have technology and discretionary, which are very large components of general stock market, like S&P 500. You can see the same thing here, S&P 500, ETF SPY. You can see that the price attempted to go up today. Actually, you can see it came up exactly to the blue line intraday, and then so far was not able to close above this resistance. So overall, still a indecisive sort of chart, but with a bullish tilt. Here's XLV, a little bit more of a defensive sector, and also kind of weaker than consumer discretionary, for example. And then, of course, we have the outright laggards, which are XLP consumer staples, which are, these are 52-week lows just a few days ago. So then we have the XLU utilities, which are kind of weak as well, but they're currently bouncing. So if you're really interested in shorting this, you could potentially buy put options if you're interested in that. But overall, probably not a very a good idea to short stocks in general, unless you know what you're doing. It takes a little bit of experience to know what you're doing with shorting stocks. And of course, real estate, which is also sort of a defensive sector. You can see that overall it was these are fresh lows here. So again, I'm looking on this particular chart, I'm looking from the point of view only of going short to sell it or selling it. So you can see several opportunities, for example, here around the red line at 75.77, and now today looks like we closed above this red line, above this resistance line, and then we'll look at the price action and see if we can maybe potentially short it again. Overall, it's a bearish chart for real estate. All right, let's continue to bonds. Okay, so here's JNK on the daily time frame again. Here's something, I pointed out basically a couple of rallies, and they're both turned out to be, dead cat bounces or just, rallies to be shorted. So here I actually went ahead and I opened a short myself. I bought put option here at 36.50, and it really went in my favor really quickly. So that is one way of playing this. It's not a particularly heavily traded instrument, so if you're, it's sometimes difficult to sell those options. It's not a lot of volume, but overall it is possible, and I actually did it. I was able to make some money off of this move. So I'm wondering now if junk bonds are, really want to maybe retest the lows from the February 2018 lows. I think we may be in for a retest. And again, I keep saying that junk bonds are, they correlate highly to the stock market. And if, junk bonds, let me just show you what I mean. If junk bonds, here is that same chart I showed in the past. You can see that junk bonds and stock market, usually moves in lockstep. And you can see the correlation coefficient here as well. And this is a weekly chart, notice. So overall, I think the junk bonds could be pulling, could pull the entire market down somehow. Yeah, this action is just, you know, bearish action, basically. Price action is bearish. So I wonder if we see a fresh low in junk bonds. I wonder if stock market will potentially follow it lower. As far as investment grade bonds, we can look at LQD, which is a investment grade corporate bonds. And again, I pointed out to my subscribers and myself, I don't have any bonds currently in my portfolios. You notice that these are fresh lows. So again, we're currently avoiding this investment grade corporates. Here is AGG. You know, as early as January of this year, already caution and then avoid as early as February, and then notice that we continued lower afterwards. So far I don't see a bottom on the bond market really. Here's TLT. Yeah, that one is also bearish, and actually I kind of put those arrows here. You can see that short again possibly, and yes, this would have been a great opportunity right there. And then aggressive traders, you know, if you're an aggressive trader, if you're, you know, young and still want to make $1 million from the stock market with a small initial investment, then maybe you can try and aggressively short here. But for me, I don't really do this kind of thing anymore. I'm kind of looking for a deeper pullback. So notice that here on the around the red line, red indicator line, you can see excellent selling opportunities. So again, overall, the bond market I think is bearish, including the junk market, which, as I said before, is a problematic for the stock market. All right, let's continue to the dollar. So again, this is a dollar index. Generally speaking, this is a bearish chart. So if I was trading it, I would be shorting it. This is not possible to trade in the United States unless you use UUP. This is also a an option. You can, you know, you can buy or sell it, or you can do options too. So potentially already buy and put options. So DXY dollar index, it's approaching this red line, which would be a very good logical level to short. There's euro versus US dollar. You know, so far this is a bullish security and a normal orderly pullback, which already could be done. This pullback, but I think a pullback to around $1.19, you know, this blue line area could be just an excellent buying opportunity if the price action confirms the bottom there. But overall, again, this is a bullish chart. Sorry. Okay, GBP USD, British pound versus US dollar. Quite a bit of selling here. Notice how it's approaching this blue support line. So let's watch for that. You notice how nicely sometimes the price touches those indicator lines. Notice here in October 6, 2017, the price touched exactly at the blue line, and that would have been a 1300 pip gain if you held on through, you know, fluctuations. Overall, again, I think US dollar is currently in the middle of a rebound, which potentially could be shorted quite soon. US dollar versus Canadian dollar, kind of indecisive chart really. But Australian dollar really made a nice move this week, and notice we had a break below this red support line. So now I wonder if we could potentially short around 76562. Same goes for New Zealand. dollar. Notice a break below this support line. Now we could potentially look for, actually this one, yeah, might bounce a little bit, but I think direction could be down now. In other words, in favor of US dollar. US dollar, Japanese yen. It's attempting to break out. Ideally, if you're bullish on this forex instrument, then we need to see a close above 110.946 currently. All right. So the weakness, or rather the strengthened dollar over the past few weeks is translating in kind of a bit of a weakness for gold. You can see that we did set fresh 52-week highs here on the 11th of April, but then we pulled back from those levels. So overall, it would be reasonable to expect buying to materialize around 1,300 bucks, and for GLD that would be around 124 or so. But once again, I'm wondering what's going on with the gold miners, and actually got some interesting comments last week. Thank you for those comments, guys. If you have any more comments, please make them below, and of course, hit the like button. This is a kind of indecisive chart with a bearish tilt. And the indecisiveness comes from the fact that gold is trading near highs, while GDX kind of was making new lows here. So yeah, it's really sort of confusing. And again, I'm not recommending or not sending any alerts about gold or gold miners currently because of this little bit of a confusion and which way this is going. Okay, energy companies, XLE, and then we'll look at oil, of course. So XLE is looking relatively bullish. I think this is a I think we can go to fresh highs from here actually. So US oil, bullish chart. There's a fresh highs. We can do oil futures. Bullish chart. Don't do USO. Don't look at USO for actual an analysis. If you want to analyze, then analyze the underlying, such as futures, which are probably the best thing to analyze, the futures of the instrument that you're trading. So again, overall, oil looks bullish. I would probably look for buying opportunities on any significant pullback. Energy, XLE, looks bullish too. I think we could break to fresh highs here. All right, now let's look at natural gas. So natural gas futures here. Again, bearish chart. It's a choppy chart, and if you are a new trader, I would just completely avoid this one. It's a very difficult instrument to trade. I traded it before. It's super hard, I tell you, especially if you're using inverse ETFs. It's like DGAS, it's very difficult. Don't analyze, DGAS or UGAS or anything like that nature. Always analyze the underlying security. So in this case, let's look at natural gas futures. Again, my bias here is bearish, so I would be selling this chart. Where I would be selling, if you're an aggressive trader, you could, short at the yellow line. You would make a little bit of money probably, but I'm looking for a little bit deeper bounce, and then maybe we can look for a shorting opportunities around $3 or so, 295. All right, let's wrap up with Bitcoin, BTC USD, and this is actually a live chart, even though I'm recording in the after hours, because Bitcoin and apparently other coins are traded 24 hours a day. So here again, same thing. I have my indicators. You can find out more about these indicators at MasterCharts Trading. You can have the same indicators on your chart, but on this chart, what I'm looking at is already resistance. So I would be looking to short. I would be looking to short now, basically, with a stop above this blue line around 13,549. For this to work, you need quite a large account to trade specifically Bitcoin. Because it's a relatively wide stop, by extension you will need a smaller position. If you didn't understand what I just said, ask me, MasterChartsTrading.com. LTC versus USD, Litecoin versus US dollar, same thing, I would be shorting it. Last time I sent this, or rather I was talking about, look at this, move, 27% move. ETH, USD, Ethereum, again, same thing, I would be shorting it now. Maybe one day it will move towards, this blue line at 964, but right now I think it should be shorted. Alright, please, first of all, like the button, subscribe to the channel, head over to MasterChartsTrading.com, click the Alerts and Indicators tab, and then sign up here for a membership. What I do is I send out alerts about whatever stocks I trade, whatever stocks we trade here, ETFs. There's a big video training library. It's been updated quite a bit. There's a lot of videos here on various aspects of trading, including psychology of trading, which is important, honestly. And then there's quite a bit of other information, and again, if you have any questions, please ask me. Thanks for watching and have another great trading week. Bye bye.